So, after day 4 of the second test in Adelaide, it's once again time for Ask George. Don Topley asks, can we just hand over the Ashes and request to play some white ball matches?
You see, this is what happens. That's how Test cricket dies. This is how Test cricket dies. You make it barely relevant, you kill the brand, and then you replace it. And we're seeing it happen in our lifetimes. This is the polar ice caps melting.
So Jack asks, do Root and Milan still have to pay subs now they're taking wickets and scoring runs?
I don't think they ever did, you know. I'm not sure that's how it works at this level, Jack.
Why did Jimmy only bowl 10 overs today when he was the most economical bowler, asks Simon Best.
Because he's 39 and it would have been pointless for him to bowl anymore. But you think, why flog him in an absolutely dead cause? It was just about waiting for the declaration, and England didn't want to bat any earlier anyway. So why flog him in that situation? It was sensible.
Do you think Chris Silverwood will keep his job after this series, asks Ishan Sinha?
I think he might be in a bit of trouble, actually. I have quite a lot of sympathy for him because I don't think he was dealt a handful of aces. But when you see them at the moment, they look a bit shambolic. And, you know, you do have to take a bit of responsibility for that if you're head coach. It's fine if you want to blame Silverwood. That's absolutely fine. But I don't think you're getting to the root of the problem with that. I really don't. I don't think that... I'm not sure there's any coach I can think of in the world that would be able to harness what they have here and make them into Ashes winners. Whether they might be better, well, fair play.
So Joshua Owen asks, will Tom Harrison be held accountable for the poor thinking that's gone into this series?
I think he will. I think that enough people are watching and understanding and thinking about it and realising it's silly to just blame the players, the captain or the coaches, and that actually you have to look at the whole structure. So I think that actually he might be in quite a lot of trouble. Yeah. It's a long time since he did anything that was, really, really good at the ECB. And I think when looking at the broadcast deal there, I think that was 2015 or something. And since then, they've really gone to hell. So, I think he will be under a lot of scrutiny. And I think that's where the attention should be, rather than people a lot lower down the food chain, such as Chris Silverwood and Joe Root.
So Oliver Brett asks, is this principally a failure of squad selection, coaching or player application? Please don't say a combination of all three.
Well, I'm definitely not going to say it's a combination of all three because I don't think it's any of those three. Application, come on, they're trying. You can't say they're not trying. The coaching, maybe. And actually, I'm afraid that they have basically more or less just about the best players here. Not completely, but just about. Do I think there are 2 or 3 players back in England or playing in the Big Bash who would suddenly make this series equal? No, I don't, I'm afraid. It depends how far back you want to go, Oliver. What I would say is that English cricket is not selected from a very large field. We've limited our selection criteria to pretty much people who are privately educated, pretty much. And then we've given them, not just that even, it would appear that we've not just limited it to privately educated, we've almost limited it to white privately educated people. And we have then given them facilities or a competition structure, which is certainly not designed to encourage the very best to flourish. It's very much encouraged short-term financial benefit. So I would look much more at those things and not those 3 things that you suggested.
Alan Higham asks, imagine the ECB were under new management and determined to ensure England prioritise Test cricket success. What 3 changes would you recommend? What
3 changes?
Yeah.
If I could only make 3.
Yeah.
So the first one would be get more cricket on free-to-air TV. I think that's massive. I think as soon as you do that, you maybe inspire a much larger audience to love the game. And I think that would happen because I think we still have a great game. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would stop charging kids when they break into county age group systems for their coaching or their kit. Because the second you do that, you're limiting your audience or your participants to middle-class kids. And thirdly, I would have county cricket without windows. I'd have no windows at all in the county season. So I'd have the county championship played alongside, for example, the Blast. And that way you wouldn't be prioritising any particular format. There are some limitations with that, but it's better than what we have at the moment. So there are three practical things that I think the new ECB management should do immediately. Sonal
Mystery asks, does this abysmal display in the Ashes justify Kevin Peterson's suggestion for a franchise-based first-class system?
Well, no, it doesn't. I mean, you have to look at what a franchise system is. I mean, what are you saying? That the county should be under private ownership, which is always going to want to sort of make a profit? I mean, that just doesn't really make sense. Why would you want to? It's like trying to make a profit from hospitals and schools. It's not really what the county championship is about. I actually have quite a lot of sympathy for Kevin's views, and I think they do come from a good place in that the county championship isn't working at the moment. It isn't producing players, and I say that as someone who loves it, and it pains me to say that, but it isn't. But I don't think it's been given a chance to, because I think they're playing it at the wrong times and in the wrong conditions, and I just don't think we valued it. So I still think that this idea that you have fewer teams and that would improve the standard, I still think that's really naive. There's not a finite amount of talent in society. The more we encourage, the more we have centres of excellence around the country, finding, nurturing, developing talent, the more talent we'll find. And to, I think, cut that number of counties, for example, would shrink the game. Now, it doesn't mean that all the counties are performing as they should. I'm struggling to defend Derbyshire. I wish I could. But the idea that you have a geographical spread of these teams is actually quite good. And I would like to work on making that work better, if that makes sense. I don't think that this sort of idea that you have some ownership of a team. What will happen is they'll be bought out. They'll probably be bought out by foreign investment, and everything will be designed to help that foreign investor and the teams that they want to help. I'm not sure that there's something really rather marvellous about member-owned clubs, mutual organisations, that sort of thing. I still think there can be a future with that, accepting that it's not perfect right now.